So you've made your decision about what version of Pro Tools you're going to buy. Let's now talk about how to get set up to use it. I'm going to give you a high-level overview of what a Pro Tools configuration may look like. After you get the Pro Tools hardware and software, you need to get a good computer. Whether it's a Mac or a PC, it needs to meet the minimum requirements for Pro Tools. That means at least 1 GB of total RAM, although 2 or more is recommended. If you are using Pro Tools HD or you are using LE or M-Powered with one of the additional toolkits, you need at least 2.5 GB of RAM. DigiDesign certifies versions of Windows and Mac OS X to use with Pro Tools, and it's a bad idea to upgrade your operating system without checking to see if it has been certified by DigiDesign first. That being said, Pro Tools requires at least OS 10.5.5 on the Mac and Windows XP or Vista on the PC. Now you're going to need a hard disk to capture audio and save your sessions. I strongly recommend that you use a separate hard drive for audio from the drive that contains your operating system and applications. This can really improve performance. It should be a FireWire or USB 2.0 hard disk that runs at least 7,200 RPM. We'll talk about backing up later in the course. Backing up is so important. I've seen too many people, including me, lose valuable work because they didn't back up. Nothing like a great recording session that has been erased forever. You can back up from your audio drive to your main hard disk, of course, but you may want to have a removable third drive that is solely used for backing up and that you can move to a separate location from your other drives for extra safety. Now you already have an audio interface that works with Pro Tools. To get audio into Pro Tools, you're going to want to connect a microphone or some type of electronic instrument with an audio out. Depending on the audio interface you have, you may be able to connect many different audio sources and record from all of them simultaneously. When you use microphones and many instruments for recording, you need to first plug them into a preamplifier or a preamp. The preamplifier boosts the level of the audio signal so that your audio interface can recognize it. Some audio interfaces, like DigiDesign's 002 and 003, come with built-in preamps. Now, a good pair of headphones is a must. You'll want to be able to use them to get into the details of your audio and really hear what's going on. Although you can use headphones to monitor what comes out of Pro Tools, you also want a set of speakers. Some speakers are self-powered, which means that they have a built-in amplifier. If they're not, you'll need an amplifier for your speakers. It's not uncommon to have 2 pairs of speakers, one really good set for critical listening and one a little closer to what you would hear in a car stereo or a TV amp. If you're going to be working with virtual instruments or MIDI, you'll want a MIDI keyboard that you can use to enter MIDI notes and play virtual instruments. The keyboard needs to be connected to the computer. Many MIDI instruments connect to your computer through a MIDI interface. Most, if not all of the audio interfaces you'll be using with Pro Tools have a built-in MIDI interface. You connect the instrument to the MIDI interface with a MIDI cable, and you connect the MIDI interface to the computer using USB or FireWire. These days, many MIDI keyboards can be connected to your computer directly using USB or FireWire cables. You have a lot of options for choosing microphones, keyboards, and speakers. Find a music store, or better yet, a musician you trust, to help advise you as to what specific equipment to choose. One other thing. If you're using a laptop, you might want to invest in a full keyboard or at least a numeric keypad. There are a lot of Pro Tools shortcuts that use the numeric keypad, and on a laptop, it's a little more difficult to access those functions. For less than $20, you can buy a numeric keypad that plugs into your computer.